It's like a dry, raspy cough. And I was like, there's like phlegm in it. And Sarah's like, you have a sinus infection too, you stupid. And I was like, alright, Sarah, you work at eye doctors.
Well, I mean, there's a great way to. I mean, there's a good
There's,
homemade COVID test.
yeah, it costs money. I just
Well,
can't
no.
afford. Wait,
Stick your hand up your butt,
huh?
take it out, give it a sniff. Smells like shit. You're negative. Does it smell like
I,
shit?
I can smell my coffee. I don't really have to smell my poop.
I
Like
saw
it's,
like somebody shared that at one point. It was just like a picture, and I just couldn't help but laugh. All right, there we go. Countdown is
countdown
ticking
to Labor
off.
Day. Countdown to Liquor Day.
All right, well I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go put the stream live now since we're counting down.
You're good.
All right, so 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to take 2 of the Canadian Grand Prix as we are just loading into the race. It appears as though the previous lobby had some connection issues going all around, so the call was made from the tier manager to get the restart done, and here we are. We've got the drivers back up into the lobby, and we are going to be ready in just a few moments to kick off the race as everyone is just loading in. And I did see through the lobby, it is going to be a dry race to honor the lack of weather or the lack of weather effect in the dynamic selection here. So definitely no weather to play a part as we're just waiting for Cohen to connect in now. Hopefully this isn't a negative sign of what's to come as nope, I think maybe just getting that tire choice made and we will be ready to kick things off in just a few moments. So, we have organized the grid to honor the qualifying results, so that is not much of a worry. And now, of course, the drivers, especially the top 10, are going to have to start on those tires they have selected. I don't think you can change your strategy now as per the rules of the restart. And we've got the video on the formation laps, so you definitely can and will get caught if you do try any funny stuff, especially those in the top 10. I know for a fact we're all on the soft tires. But at the same point, it is going to be, you won't have that tire wear like you had with the qualifying, so it is going to be a fresh set of soft tires, so you can take them a little bit longer here, I think, as we're just waiting to kick things off. And of course, as I don't think I mentioned it just yet, I am still joined by ISRL Sunik as the co-commentator. So loading in here with the into the session. I know I've covered a little bit, but what are some? Have I missed anything in terms of filling everybody in on how this restart works at all?
No, not at all. Obviously, I mean, the top 10 absolutely have to start on what they qualified on in the previous aforementioned race, but the 11th through 20th, they can still pretty much take a second chance to pretty much switch up what they were going to go with. But as you said, all the tires in the top 10 will be new, so I don't think that really plays too much into the part of strategy change. I think we'll still get the same two-stop that we were promised in race 1. So don't think anybody or anything will change on that front.
No, well, that's the thing. I don't think so either. I think really it might just be that first soft tire stint can go a little bit longer. As there we go, we do have the indication from Jordan to kick things off. And if I recall correctly, I believe we will still have a formation lap once again to do. I don't think we're going to jump into the race, but I didn't quite get to take a look at that. So are you aware if we've got that formation lap up and running here?
Um, I'm in the dark just like you are as well. Sorry about that.
No
We'll
worries.
find out real soon.
Yep, we'll find out in just a moment. Are we going to see that one light, or are we going to see the 5 lights? It is that one light on the right, so we do have that formation lap. And there we go, the AWS pit stop prediction, the soft, medium, medium, or soft, soft, medium. Now, let's take a look. Let's pop in, firstly, the track map, as I love to have open. One of my best friends here in the commentator's booth as well as let's put in the tires here just to take a look. And as I take a peek here, Faxland all the way down to Krishna, P1 to 9 on the soft tires, but crucially, Dark was not in the top 10, but now finds himself into the top 10 now.
Something weird has happened because we saw Efron Tabone, he was P8, and now he's P11, and Cruz was
down into
up there too. Now Cruz is down into 13th.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure. I thought we had the custom grid order right down packed, but it looks as though potentially some issues with the grid here, as similar to what we saw in the in the F2 race with the restart. So some drivers definitely getting a bit of a oh my goodness, excuse me. Some drivers definitely getting a bit of a boost there, the likes of Dark, but some drivers getting the short end of the stick as well, like Ephraim Tabone, who's lost out on a position, and I think, as I said, Cruz as well. That
yeah, Cruz went from P8 to P13. Ephraim went from 10th to 11th. So
yeah, so potentially, potentially the only movers here. But still a little bit interesting, as maybe this is, or well, no, I don't even think it is. As I was gonna say, maybe with the with all the issues with the first lobby, it could have been a bit of maybe latency on our end. But nonetheless, we are just gonna kick things off here with the race and let the drivers battle it out on track. As now everybody's lined up. And we will kick things off for real this time for the Canadian Grand Prix. And there we go. As I saw the switch, still waiting for these 5 red lights. And there we go. We're up to 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights. Waiting. Still waiting. And now we're off, as it was a very long 5 red lights. And already D-Mort's working their making a nice little overtake, I believe. But going into turn 1, it's still Faxland leading the way from AJ Wuhan in second and D-Mort's in third, as the timing tables are getting a little bit funky, as it's showing Dark all the way down the order. We've got yellow flags here in sector 1, and oh, what happened to Dark off the restart, and Cohen as well, both down many positions, or both maybe caught up into an incident. And that's Dark going actually very slowly here to kick things off to start the race. Not what he was hoping for. And Nathan already up into 4th from starting in 6th, so he had a start to remember, and is right behind his teammate now of AJ Wuhan, as they're both looking to work together, catch up to Passassin, who's already putting pressure on Faxland to on the first lap of the race. So we might see some battles for the lead here very early on, as I want to jump a little bit further down the order, as we've got all the drivers single file barreling down the back straight. And Mivako putting a lot of pressure, but getting pressured by Krishna right up ahead. It looked like Irish New Potato thought about making a move on Laparkta, but just didn't have enough room to get it done, as it is still Faxland leading the way here off the start of the race. Synchro diving into the pits very early on, potentially being caught up into an incident as well, maybe having to get a wing change. So not the start they were hoping for, but can definitely get a lot of recovery drive in, as we still have 34 laps to go here in this Grand Prix, as only 1 lap has been completed.
Yeah, huge disadvantage for Dark and Synchro. They're on the back foot here to start, so.
Yeah, on the back foot, but as I mentioned, definitely can recovery drive, and already we're seeing Dark now maybe getting a bit more heat into those tires. Overtakes Cohen to go up into 18th. Vito, the teammate, was going side by side with Ephraim, and now they're still going basically side by side. As no, Vito did get the overtake, but Ephraim battling it out with Cruz. As you can see how close they're getting here. Cruz going in the outside here, as we've got the Amazon strategy once again for the medium tire runners. Cruz gets the overtake done from the outside, so not the start Ephraim was hoping. Is now Jordan gets an overtake here with the medium tires. So Ephraim Tabone falling down the order here in these early stages with those soft tires. and it looks as though the medium tire runners may be having a little bit more pace in these early stages here in the midfield battles.
Yeah, Cruz is going to be desperate to get back, thinking to get those positions he truly deserves.
Yeah, so maybe driving with a vengeance. Cruz is, as you mentioned, getting the short end of the stick, trying to work his way up the order sooner rather than later, but running into maybe a little bit of traffic as AJ Wuhan and Passassin are side by side through the hairpin now. Passassin squeezing out, and AJ has a little bit of a moment clipping the grass. So that means that Assassin very comfortably can take that P2 and is looking to make a lunge here for the lead of the race here on lap 3. And it looks as though he does get the overtake and closes the door on Faxland as he attempts the switchback. But still, all four drivers actually very close. And oh my goodness, that was AJ caught up into an incident going into turn 1. And crucially, that might have been with his teammate, as he's all the way down into 9th and getting right here involved with this battle between Mats and Cruz that we were just talking about here, as Cruz overtook Vito down that start-finish straight, or down the back straight, somewhere along there. And Nathan now falling down the order as well, as I think teammates collided into turn 1. So calamity for the Williams team here in these early stages, as they go from a P3 and P4 down to 8th and 9th. And you can see Nathan struggling here with some wing damage. And oh my goodness, that was Irish Nude Potato that was caught up into an incident as well, and he's got some wing damage. Lost a bit of an end plate and then some on that left-hand wing, as you can see there. I heard Jordan. So what happened? What happened with Jordan?
Jordan got a bit of oversteer in the hairpin, checked everybody up. Efron Tabone ends up getting overtaken by Nathan JB. Well, not just yet. They're gonna be side. He's ducking into the pit.
Yep, as I expected. I think maybe some wing damage for Nathan. Thankfully for AJ, other than the spin, it looks as though he came off fairly clean, but losing out on some positions. Now up the order, it is Laparta getting an overtake done on Demort. So Demort's falling down into 4th, but still a strong start of the race for him, as qualified in 4th, currently in 4th, and holding that position pretty well, and has a nice 2-second cushion to the likes of Krishna, who's behind, and looking to hold back Mivako, who he himself needs to hold back AJ, who's now probably driving even more so with a vengeance after being caught up into that incident. But I think maybe there's going to be some words in the Williams garage about that incident, if they aren't already doing so under team radio. But that was, I mean, that was definitely something to a sight to see, as normally you don't really see teammates getting caught up with one another.
AJ Wuhan down the inside of Mavako here into the last chicane. Move done.
Yep, gets the move done up into 6th. I think Mivako looking to put some pressure, but it is a bit of a DRS train now here on lap 6, as nope, the move was not able to get done in time. I know Jordan and Vito were battling it out, and it looks as though Jordan got the overtake done with the help of DRS. So up into 10th is Jordan. Vito falling down into 11th, and Synchro, after having to take that early pit stop, already gaining some positions here, overtaking Michael Fierez, or El Bico as we might refer to him as here over the course of this stream, to go up into 15th.
Yeah, Assassin's already eked that gap out to almost over a second. But he's just going to keep Faxon within DRS range. And Laparta not really gaining on his teammate all that much, just he's lost DRS to Faxon. So now Demorts is going to be looking opportunistic here to get the move back and get back on the podium.
Yep, and Demorts will have DRS to help him out here for that move, but it's more of a matter of can he close up enough of a gap. Not necessarily through the final chicane here, but maybe can get something done with the second bite of the DRS cherry, as the DRS detection zone is a little bit early, so you basically do get DRS for both straights, barring a very early overtake down the back straight before the wall of Champion chicane. But it still is Laparta holding on to 3rd, and Demorts staying behind in 4th, but was not able to get the overtake done. Now back out on track, I do see Vito closing up to Jordan for that P10. So maybe Vito finally getting a little bit more heat into those medium tires and can now start pushing a little bit more. Lorenzo overtaking Stewart, as I think Stewart may have had a bit of a problem on the exit of that corner, and now is going to have to keep an eye out for Dark, who's on those hard tires, and potentially looking to make a push as well. Oh, even at the back of the grid, after having to take that early pit stop, opting to put on the medium tires, it's Nathan JB looking to get a recovery drive, and you can see makes very quick work of Michael Fures to go up into 16th and continue on his way. And now we do see Vito overtaking Jordan on track as they go into the final chicane. And Stewart now overtaking Lorenzo with a very nice move right at the end, right at the last second it looked like, making it through into the final chicane. And we've got a nice little 3-car battle between Stewart, Lorenzo, and Dark. A Mercedes, a Ferrari, and a Red Bull going battling it out for position. And, ooh, my goodness! The Ferrari and the Red Bull getting caught up, getting their wheels tied
Lorenzo
together.
Didn't leave any room to Dark there. No respect shown, and ultimately it cost Dark.
Yeah, cost Dark a position, but crucially also cost Lorenzo all that time that was gained on Stewart, and crucially now, that gap between Stewart and Lorenzo is up to 5.5 seconds, and they were oh so close to one another not too long ago. Now going side by side into the hairpin, it's Mats and Cruz. Cruz has the inside line, but maybe a little bit of a better exit from Mats. No, I don't think so, as Cruz does hold on to that P8. But now they're both catching up to Mivako. Look at the pace Cruz has as he just flies by the Ferrari of Mivako, as Mivako diving into the pits here on lap 7, opting for an early pit stop, maybe looking to undercut a lot of the drivers ahead, as, well, funny enough, your Tier 3 race has shown the undercut is very strong here around Canada. And look at this, Cruz and Mats basically going side by side. And Cruz is up into 7th, Mats in 8th, but what nice driving, what nice battling by these two drivers here on lap 9 as they're battling for position here in these still early stages of the race.
Yeah, they'll be setting their sights up on these soft runners here, who that pit window is absolutely opened up for these guys, so look for the top 6 here to be diving in the pit relatively soon. Oh, who's that?
Yep, as oh, Michael Fures retired from the session. That's El Biku, and I'm seeing, is this a VSC that's out? As we've got a full track yellow. Now let's. I'm gonna jump over to Passassin here, as it is a VSC. As I'm seeing it flash, I think the Wall of Champions, that final chicane, taking its first victim, as now Passassin going into the pits. Faxland staying out, and you can see that car totaled on the track. And heartbreak for El Biku, or Michael Fures, as he's the first victim of the Wall of Champions. But now everybody has dove into the pits for the soft tires, other than Faxland, who opted to stay out. So maybe that was a little bit of communication between himself and Laparta, as Laparta does go into the pits, putting on that fresh set of mediums. And I would not be surprised to see Faxland going into the pits maybe at the end of this lap, depending on when the VSC ends, and maybe can start growing a little bit of a gap. But I thought it would have been the other way around, as Faxland was the lead car, and we are back to green now.
That might have hurt Faxland there.
Yeah, I think so, because now all these drivers that he was battling it out with, well, his teammate, Passas and Krishna, they're all getting, oh my goodness, look at this battle here. They were 3 wide for a moment, but now it's more of a 2-car battle between Passas and Laparta. So as much as we're saying Faxland might have been at a disadvantage due to the free pit stop, now all of these drivers here, they're going to be battling amongst themselves for position here on those fresh set of mediums. And meanwhile, Faxland can cruise in the clean air, in that open air, but Faxland is actually staying out for another lap here on those soft tires.
Not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to go for a one-stop.
Potentially trying the soft to hard, as now Demorts overtakes ISRL Dark to go up into 10th. The mediums now dark on the older set of hard tires. They are 9 laps old, but a bit of a different strategy for them. As who I thought I saw Nathan JB have a moment coming out of the final chicane, but looks as though that was nothing to be worried about, as we can see him on screen continuing on his way, closing that gap up to Mivako. And Matt's on a fresh set of soft tires now, putting a lot of pressure on Dark, as I think with that fresh set of softs definitely has the pace, and I think maybe looking to go a soft medium, so I think he was on the soft to start things off here. And you can see him going side by side with Dark, tucks the corner ever so slightly to make it work, but does get the overtake done. Krishna and AJ that were battling it out, and Stewart is now maybe getting involved in this battle as well on those 10-lap old medium tires. But we'll see how this is going to play out as they're going down the back straight, and Cruz now going into the pits.
Cruz just got a drive-through penalty.
Oh my. I'm not too sure what that was for. I saw Cruz dive into the pits, so maybe, I mean, it couldn't have been a speeding in the pit lane, as now AJ and Krishna still very close. Now Cruz with that drive-through, it is going to affect him as he's going.
It's not showing up on my screen when I check the penalty details, so maybe it was just a glitch on my screen, so it popped up. It was weird. It was very weird. Sorry.
No worries. But now I was just gonna say, speaking of Cruz, through the exit of the Vettel chicane, D-Morts had such better traction, such a better exit, but just wasn't able to get that overtake done, as it's not really much of an overtaking spot, barring any incidents. Now Passassin already working his way up the grid, back up into third, as leaving some of these other drivers that took the pit stop with them basically into the dust. But crucially, Faxline on those soft tires still continuing on his way, and now has basically a 10.3 second gap to Vito, who's in a second place right now on those used medium tires. Now, sorry,
Faxline's absolutely pushing the car too. He's got like no ERS left. He's absolutely using the softs to their bitter end here. He's got to be going for a one-stop.
Definitely, he must have, in his practice, must have determined that the one-stop was the better strategy. Now, I think it's more whether or not these soft, whether he can hold on to these soft tires and keep up that pace, because now Assassin on those fresher set of medium tires, you can see him making a push now. The gap to Vito, a second and a half, and I think Assassin maybe only a matter of time before he starts closing up. You can see that now, very, very close. Matt's on that soft tires, 3 laps old, overtaking D-Morts to go up into 7th. So Matt's having a lot of pace on those soft tires here in this stage of the race. Has a little bit of a lock up into the hairpin, but thankfully for him, that's not going to open the door for D-Morts to get the overtake done, at least for the time being. But with potential DRS, we might see something happen. Now elsewhere, Stewart and Irish Nude Potato, both running the hard tires, both very close to one another. Are we going to see a move here? I don't think so, as the gap is not closing quick enough to get the overtake done here on lap 14 for what is points nonetheless here. And who was that? I think that was Nude Potato, clipping a little bit of the grass on the exit of the Wall of Champion chicane. So maybe losing a little bit of time here, but it doesn't look like that affected too much. Now Passassin does get past Vito elsewhere a little bit further up on the track, and you can see this gap now between Passassin and Faxland now down to 8.8 seconds. So I think Faxland starting to feel a little bit aware, starting to lose out on that pace, and I'd be surprised if he does not go into the pits. And look at that. Dives into the pits here on lap 13, or on lap 14, I guess.
Now, if he doesn't throw on the hards here, it's pretty pointless for him to have stayed out that long, you know? And he's going with the mediums. I am so confused.
Well, here, so he basically did 14, 15 laps, I guess, on the soft tires. So given the potential tire wear, I guess it's not too crazy to think he could maybe take those medium tires 20 laps, but it is going to involve a lot more battling and a lot more overtaking, unless he's just hoping to play it safe, with a lot of these drivers banking on a two-stop strategy to work.
That would be nuts. I hope the Tier 1 guys are watching. Keep note that it may be possible.
Definitely.
We see Urine Visser in the comments saying, one-stop, soft, medium, question mark? We don't know, Urine. We don't know.
Yeah, stay tuned and we'll find out. So don't go anywhere, as we'll have to keep an eye on Faxland, as he's out in 6th now. And I can see Matt with a very close gap here as they're coming around the hairpin. And we'll have to see if Faxland will have the pace. But crucially, I do think Krishna, all those drivers ahead, Vito definitely will need to take a pit stop, and there we go. He will dive into the pits now and put on potentially a fresh set of medium tires, I think.
Vito going to the hards and a wing change.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize Vito had taken wing damage, but must have collected that somewhere. But I guess Vito looking for a medium to hard strategy as a one-stop here for his troubles. So we'll have to see how that's going to play out as he comes out in basically down in well, up into 12th, but now caught up into this battle here between well, no, actually I think he got out just ahead of the battle between Lorenzo, Irish Newt Potato, and Cruz, that are all very close to one another. And we'll have to see how this is going to play out. Let's take a look at this battle. Cruz very, very close. You can see it there now as we're out of the trees. No, I don't want to see behind. Right up on the rear diffuser of Irish Newt Potato Cruz is, and very easily gets that overtake done on Irish Newt Potato. So Irish Newt Potato maybe starting to feel it on those hard tires compared to Cruz's soft tires that are only 3 laps old. So Cruz really making a push here. And already right up behind Lorenzo through the exit of the hairpin. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Cruz overtaking Lorenzo down this back straight. But how will Lorenzo defend in that Ferrari car? Defending to the outside. They're going side by side. And as that's not a chicane, you'll see too many side-by-side moves on. Lorenzo backing
and New Potato's going to get him down the pit straight.
Yeah, so not necessarily what, oh my goodness, Lorenzo was hoping for, as losing out on 2 positions now, and might start feeling the pressure of Stewart, who's right behind now, as Lorenzo holding on to that last points-paying position. But I want to jump back to a little bit further ahead here, as D-Mort's now putting a bit of pressure on Mats. Mats now on 7-lap-old soft tires, so maybe starting to feel the wear of those tires and might need to dive into the pits. You can see that going very wide on the exit of the hairpin, so D-Mort's getting very close. But D-Mort's using some of that ERS. He does have DRS as well, but not too much to work with.
Krishna just cut across the front of Laparta, and Laparta in the wall at the Wall of Champions. That's not how you want to get an overtake done, I can assure you that. That was just... he left no room for the Haas driver and ultimately spun him out.
Yeah, and Laparta having some wing damage for his troubles, as I was a little bit late on that battle, as I only saw Laparta into the wall, basically facing the other way, but now is going to have to struggle to get around the track, and with that wing damage, is going to be losing out on a lot of downforce. So you can already see Mivako getting very close and putting a lot of pressure, and I wouldn't be surprised if this overtake gets done down this straight with the help of DRS. Now let's keep an eye out on this ever so briefly, and nope, Laparta able to hold on to this P7, so doing a good job defending the Ferrari of Mivako, but it might only be a matter of time before this move gets done, especially down this very long back straight here, and you can see how close Mivako is. So now Laparta, you think might need to dive into the pits and get a fresh wing on. Maybe get a fresh set of boots, but now you're kind of stuck in no man's land here if you're going into the pits. Do you put on another set of mediums and hope for the best for 15 laps? Or do you think he puts on a set of hards to play it safe and just push on the exit of the pits?
Mediums will do 15 laps easily. It's the
keep an
20
eye out
laps I
on.
was a little bit worried about with Faxon, but Faxon nicely up into fourth now and chasing down Krishna, who incidentally just took out his teammate Haas. At the point of contact, Laparta was running in a podium position, having to be on for his best result of the season so far, and it was stripped of him.
Yeah, so definitely some controversy in regards to that battle. It sounds like, I mean, unfortunately for those watching the stream, we missed out on that. But sounds as if Sunik, you got a front row seat to what happened there, and I would not be surprised if the stewards end up having to look into this incident potentially on the reports after this race, at least from what I've heard in regards to that incident. Now, Matt's going into the pits, getting off of those soft tires, which
D-Mort's
promotes
having a fantastic race.
Yeah, up into 5th already on those 10-lap old, and basically running a similar strategy as everybody else here in the top, basically the top 6, other than Faxland, who's really trying to make that one stop work. And I was worried, at least early on, that he was going to be stuck battling a lot of these drivers. But crucially, it didn't look like that was too much of the case, as he's up into 4th. And I'm sure he knows for a fact that Krishna, AJ Wuhan, and Pasasan are going to have to take another pit stop. But it's just a matter of can he keep up with these drivers in order to make this one stop work, and as well as will the tire wear last long enough in order to keep this to make this strategy work as well. So of course, once the tires fall off, especially here in Canada, they definitely fall off, and it might bring in the advantage to these two-stop runners.
Faxon almost within a second now, Krishna. Oh, it's D-Mort's pits.
Yep, so getting off of those mediums and maybe putting on another, potentially putting on another set of mediums here to go to the end. Oh, it's a wing change for D-Morts. Oh no, I didn't quite get to see what happened, but maybe clipped a wall a little bit too much. You had mentioned it at the start of qualifying. These walls are very close and they are very unforgiving here. And already we've seen a lot of wing change pit stops. Nathan is into the pits as well, putting on a fresh set of medium tires. But D-Morts, after running into 5th, now going to have to do a little bit of a recovery drive now with those fresh set of mediums. But the good news is he can definitely take those mediums to the end of the race, so will not need to take another pit stop. As crucially, showing Cruz a lap behind, which definitely is not the case, as he's up into 7th. So I'm not too sure what's going on with my my timing tables here. But look at this, Faxland now 3/10 behind Krishna, and Krishna, who has well, from what I've heard, taken out his teammate. Is Faxland maybe going to be driving with a bit more of a vengeance and trying to get this overtake done very swiftly, and maybe try to get, I don't want to say revenge on his teammate, but get that overtake done and get that position right back with a vengeance for his teammate. We'll take a look and see.
Crucially, look, Dark up into 6th on 21 lap old hards. He's somehow done it again. I mean, of course, he is going to have to pit because you are required to use 2 different tire compounds unless you start in the rain. But either way, up into 6th after starting, what was it actually? 10th actually. We're so used to seeing Dark start on those hards from towards the rear of the field. It's kind of neat seeing him and Vito on the same team, as we both know they are consistent when it comes to making their way through the field. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, running this alternate strategy for Dark, we saw it pay extreme amounts of dividends for him on last week's race. Of course, running the for those who aren't aware, running the hard tires all the way over to the changeover period, and essentially running a no stop as he pit at the same time as everybody else to put on those wet tires. And now Mivako, who's into the pit, so Dark now up into 5th. Now crucially, ever so differently here. We will not see any rain affect the outcome of this race at the end. That I can say for a fact. But still, being able to make the one-stop work while everybody else is running a two-stop, he can essentially time this pit stop around the same time as maybe Krishna, AJ, and Assassin take their second pit stop, and essentially work his way up the order with them, I would think. But now, if he wants to try to close up the gap on P4 of Faxland and Krishna, speaking of, we're seeing Faxland getting an overtake done down the inside. Gets it done fairly quickly here on those fresher set of medium tires. So Krishna down into fourth, Faxland back up into a podium. And what was that? Was that a little bit of a tank slapper from Krishna on the exit of the Wall of Champions?
A heart was in my throat there for the Renault driver. I thought we were going to see a Wall of Champion, how do you say? Victim. Yeah, there's the right word, sorry.
Yep, actually a victim here. But crucially now, Mats overtook Cruz down the back straight with the help of DRS. So going up into sixth on those fresh medium tires. So Mats in the having a very solid drive himself as he's up into sixth and can definitely take these all the way to the end. And with Dark still having to take a pit stop. A lot of these drivers, basically, other than Faxland having to take a pit stop, Mats might be in for a very strong finish as well if he can hold on and potentially keep it clean. I haven't taken a look too much at what the penalties are looking like at this stage in the race.
Well, so unfortunately for Dark and Mats, they've accrued the most besides Lorenzo with 12 apiece. Lorenzo's sitting at 15 seconds. But Assassin taking a 3-second penalty, and he's in the pit. Same as AJ Wuhan. Look at that, Faxland into the lead, will not have to pit again, really making this one-stop strategy. We didn't think this was possible. I said it in the pre-race. It was almost a suicide mission in the sense of trying to eke out a one-stop, let alone, he did the soft tires, 15 laps, so a mega strategy call for Faxland, looking for his first win here in ISRL.
Yeah, absolutely crazy strategy. Now, if I'm going to be honest, if this was the Division 1 race and it was one of these top runners from the Division 1 pulling off the one-stop, I mean, of course, I'll drop the name over here, like Sweetcrown 19, for example, that we know can keep the tires. I mean, I wouldn't be as surprised. Now, nothing to take away from Faxland, but I mean, to me, it's showing Faxland definitely good with the tires, definitely feeling comfortable with the Haas car, but this wasn't something I thought I would see all that much of, running a soft to medium one-stop here in Division 2, but Faxland basically, you know, saying, well, that's fine, I'll run it, watch me.
And here's the thing, too, AJ Wuhan and Assassin are both on the softs with 10 to go, so they might get to the rear of Faxland, but they're going to hit a cliff with those softs.
Well, that's the thing, and more of a matter if they're going to be caught. I think if you're AJ and Assassin, the other thing too is that they're both on this similar strategy with the soft tires. But now I think the other thing too is they might end up being at a disadvantage, battling amongst themselves if they don't look at the greater picture of trying to close up to Faxland. For the lead. Now, I was just keeping an eye out on D-Morts and Laparta, who are very close to one another, going side by side through turns 1 and turn 2, and it looks as though D-Morts does get that 8th position, and Laparta is in 9th, but still staying very, very close, and maybe some more battling between these two drivers for this P8 position as this going down and as they get DRS. And no, getting very close, but no overtake done, at least for the time being. But speaking
Assassin
of
looking
overtakes,
to make a move.
Yes, let's jump over to that. And this is sort of what I was saying. If Assassin and AJ are going to be battling amongst themselves, that might have been exactly what Faxland needs to grow that gap. But crucially, Assassin gets the overtake done and sort of makes it look easy with the help of DRS. Up into second, AJ down into third, and now Krishna up into fourth, overtaking Mats, who falls down to sixth. with that fresh set of soft tires as well. So Krishna looking to use some of that clean air to his advantage now, and maybe make a push to try to catch up to AJ and to Sasson. But
Assassin's
still
gonna
now,
have to get a 3-second gap to AJ because he has a 3-second penalty, whereas AJ Wuhan penalty free.
yeah, but crucially now, I'm gonna have to keep an eye out on this gap between Faxland on your screen now in the lead and Assassin. The gap was around 10.1 seconds. It's down to 9.6 now. So Assassin having a lot of pace on those soft tires, but it's more of a matter of will they last to the end, and will Assassin be able to close up on enough of Faxland to get the overtake done before those soft tires fall off their cliff.
You got to look at it from Faxland's point of view. He can sit there and say, essentially, okay, so I have a 9-second gap. But they can also look at the penalty and be like, well, that 9-second gap is turned into, well, 8-second gap. It turned into a 12-second gap. So he can stay comfortable knowing that all he has to do is race the rest of his race super clean and just not make those silly little errors that we discussed during qualifying, where we talked about the track limits and the fact that you can't get caught out wide or else you're in the wall. So
yeah, I mean, of course, but at the same time, once the tire wear starts being felt, it's a lot easier said than done to keep it clean. Because of course, once the tire wear comes in, you know, you don't have as much grip. You might be going ever so slightly more wide around some of these corners, and I know some of these corners are very, very unforgiving. I mean, my best example is, funny enough, this Wall of Champions final corner that we're seeing now AJ and Assassin come to. I mean, sometimes hitting the wall is the least of your worries. It's if you go ever so slightly, just a little bit too wide on the exit, you might not hit the wall, but you might just go ever so too wide and get that warning or take that 3-second time penalty, which is even more of a worry once you've got once you're feeling that tire wear.
yeah, and as it stands now, Assassin's eking out at least a second and like 1.2 seconds a lap on Faxland, so catching them is one thing. They do only have 6 laps to get it done.
Demorts and Demorts and Laparta having a nice little side-by-side battle. They touched wheels through into turn 1, but it looks as though Laparta is able to get the move to stick, but Demorts slotting very close behind, and I think now with the after getting that move to stick, Laparta is able to just grow ever so slightly a little bit of a gap, but now maybe needing to watch out for the driver behind, which is Dark, who's in 10th, took his pit stop 3 laps ago and is also on those soft tires and really looking to make a push up the order, but is going to have to make quick work of Demorts and Laparta if he wants any chance of... but speaking of, Demorts having a little bit of a tank slapper on the exit of the hairpin, which might open the door to Dark with the help of DRS, and you can see how quickly Dark is closing in on Demorts and gets the overtake done fairly quickly here through into the final chicane. Just has a little bit better grip as well through the exit Wall of Champions, and but won't be able to close up on enough to get the overtake done on Laparta through the second bite of DRS, but maybe a little bit later this lap we might be able to gonna jump back to Saturn, close the gap down to now under 5 seconds with 5 laps to go here in this Grand Prix. And honestly, it's just been flying by, but the question still remains. Assassin A, close up on enough of Faxland to consider the overtake. B, get the overtake done. And C, grow that 3-second gap, last I checked, to try to secure the victory here at the Canadian Grand Prix.
Now.
Oh no, 6 seconds now. Oh my, so I think we might just be more likely to see an overtake on track than that top step of the podium. But an overtake on track is still an overtake on track, regardless of how you look at it. Now, Mivako and Mats were going side by side, but Mivako got the move done on Mats with the help of DRS, and Dark gets past Laparta not too far behind, and is now right behind his teammate of Vito, who Vito is on those and now 15 lap old hard tires, so we might see close the gap fairly quickly on Vito, and maybe we might not see too much battling amongst the two Red Bull teammates for position, depending on the pace that that Dark is showing compared to Vito.
Yep, Assassin can see Faxlin now.
So it's gonna be close here on lap 31, but I still, personally, I do think it's just too little, too late. Now, Dark and Vito switching positions here, but crucially, you can see right here Laparta oh so close behind Vito, and I think Vito with those hard tires, maybe he was struggling, but there's contact as there was a bit of a brake check moment through the hairpin. Now, I'm not too sure. I believe that might have just been a racing incident as Vito hitting the brakes, Laparta hitting the brakes, and maybe Demort's coming in just a tiny little bit too hot. But Laparta had a bit of a moment, and I think Demort's now up into 9th, and Vito might be thanking his lucky stars, as I think if it wasn't for that, he would have seen the Haas driver of Laparta in front of him and rather than behind him. Now Cruz into the pits, having to get a wing change, so not the way he was not what he was hoping for here in these dying stages of the race. But
here's something
my.
We haven't thought of: Assassin catching Faxlin. Faxlin not really worried about that, but he might. If he fights Assassin, all that's going to do is allow AJ Wuhan to catch back up to both of them. So pretty much the race win right now is between Faxlin and AJ Wuhan. Assassin's 6-second penalties essentially eliminated him from the top step of the podium. So
yeah, that's actually, I didn't even take that into consideration. I mean, AJ was up into 3rd, basically driving his own race, but now that you mention it, I mean, AJ has basically kept up with Assassin through the entirety of this stint, keeping that gap right around to 2 seconds. And I think now here with 2 laps to go, I think Faxland is really starting to feel the wear on those medium tires compared to the soft tires of Assassin and AJ. And I think AJ maybe early on when he was ahead of Assassin, opting maybe not to battle overly all that much with Assassin with the overtake. I think now maybe that was a bit of a strategy call from AJ in order to just conserve the tires. He maybe knew the battle wasn't between Assassin, so as long as he kept the gap within, at the time, 3 seconds. And now, with Assassin and Faxland, you can see now Assassin right up behind. Faxland defending down the inside. We've got an overtake here for the lead of the race, at least on track, and it is Assassin now as he's starting the penultimate lap, leading the Canadian Grand Prix on track with Faxland right behind. And now AJ, who's just been lurking in the shadows, might just be able to get an overtake done on Faxland here within the next lap and a bit to try to keep the win. But I'm sure Faxland is definitely going to have something to say about that. Not going to give up that position without a fight, especially considering it is for the possible net win of the race here.
Yeah, Faxland, all he has to do is just slot in behind Assassin, just push enough to stay within DRS, just to stay away from AJ Wuhan. But AJ is coming, he's coming quick.
Oh yeah, you can see this gap now. Already Assassin has grown the gap to 1 second between himself and Faxland. Now, I'm also keeping an eye out on now Demort's putting a lot of pressure on Dark, so I think Dark pushing those soft tires maybe a little bit too much, as now Vito was able to overtake, and Demort's now putting a lot of pressure onto Dark. I almost said Assassin there, and even Laparta is looking to get involved. So similar to what we saw just a few laps ago between the Red Bull, the Racing Point, and the Haas car, able to take this oh my goodness, hairpin corner much cleaner this time around. Demort's has a bit of a tank slapper, which is going to help out Dark, but now Laparta looking to close up. But with this DRS train, it might be for naught. But now on this final lap, let's jump over to AJ Wuhan. Let's ride with him as he's oh so close to Faxland, has DRS, and crucially Faxland doesn't have any DRS on Assassin as this gap is up to 2 seconds. But actually, oh my goodness, the lapped cars might be paying a little bit of dividends for Faxland, as he might have had some DRS on the lapped car that was ahead. Now, through the hairpin on the final lap, the gap is down to half a second. Will the overtake get done here, leading into the final straight, into the final corner? Let's take a look and see. We're riding on board with AJ.
Oh.
Look at how quickly he's closing, and he does get the overtake done. Now, can he make it stick? Keep it clean. He does make it clean, and with the help of DRS, Passassin crosses the line in first, but AJ Wuhan takes the win off of penalties with Faxland, making the one stop work, but just not when it counted, losing out on basically what is the final corner, but still a very solid showing in P2 for Faxland, and what a race that was, at least for the lead. And Passassin still getting a podium for his troubles, finishing in third. Oh my.
That's what you want. You want these last lap passes. I called the strategy. You had a feeling AJ Wuhan was just buying his time. He knew. He saw the gap slowly creeping down, and he knew, obviously, the Passassin had the 6 seconds. And Faxland did too. Faxland just tried to let him by as fast as he could and stick with him, but ultimately the soft tires were... The 2-stop was better than the 1-stop here. He rolled the dice, and he went for it. Fair play to him, but ultimately it came down to just 2 corners.
Yep, oh my, that was absolutely crazy, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even take that into consideration until you had brought that up. I mean, I honestly, no offense to AJ, but I honestly thought this battle was just gonna be between Passassin and Faxland once that overtake was done, but no, AJ pulling the strategy out of the bag, making it work for him. And as you said, it's showing the 2-stop just ever so slightly quicker than the 1-stop strategy here, at least as far as Division 2 is concerned. But, oh my goodness, what a race that was. Still can't get over it, but at the same time, what else can we expect? We've had these crazy races week in, week out for Division 2, and honestly, this was a great race, but at the same time, par for the course. But I'll take us through the order here. AJ Wuhan gets the win here at the Canadian Grand Prix with Faxland making the 1-stop work, coming in second, and Passassin rounding out the podium. Krishna coming in fourth, Mivako rounding out the top 5 in fifth, Demorts in sixth, Max in seventh, Laparta in eighth, Vito in ninth, and Irish New Potato rounding out the top 10. Nathan JB in 11th, Darth in 12th, Jordan coming in 13th, Cruz in 14th, Stewart rounding out the top 15, with Synchro in 16th, Lorenzo in 17th, Efron Tabone in 18th, ISRL Cohen in 19th, and Michael Fures, after crashing out very early on, bringing up the back of the grid in 20th there. But what a race that was, and I believe we will be jumping into the post-race podium interviews in just a few moments. As soon as I think you're getting on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, invites have just been sent, so look forward to talking to AJ Wuhan and Faxland about that one.
Oh yeah, so am I, and oh my goodness, what a race that was. Now in the meantime, I'm gonna jump into the showroom, and there we go. We've got our first podium interviewer, AJ Wuhan. AJ, let us know if you can hear us all right.
Hiya, I can hear you. Loud and clear.
You can hear us. Perfect. So, I mean, firstly, congratulations on the win. Now, I don't know if you had the stream open, but I'll be honest, I didn't quite really have you in the picture for the win after your second round of pit stops. But now, when Passassin overtook you to go up into second at the time after the pit stop for the soft tires, was that sort of a planned pit stop for you, or were you ideally looking to battle with them a little bit more?
Well, initially I was looking to, well first, congrats to everyone on the podium, but yeah, initially I was looking to sort of try and get ahead of him, stay ahead of him, but then I saw that he had a 3-second penalty, so I just thought, I'll try not to fight too much because I don't want to risk any damage or penalties or anything like that, so I'm happy I stuck with it, but yeah.
What happened between you and Nathan JB? We saw Nathan JB get all sorts of spun around, so was that a bit of teammate on teammate contact, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. I was in the party with him, and he was apologizing as soon as it happened. But he just expected that I would be going quicker into the corner. But I was braking early enough that I wouldn't make contact with Assassin and Faxland. So it was just unfortunate he broke a bit too late and knocked into the back of me.
Well, luckily
But yeah.
enough, it didn't cause you any damage. You went on to obviously take the
Yeah.
the victory here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we could probably chalk it up to a bold strategy call by the Williams team, if if we want to put it that way. But
Yeah.
I do want to ask, because I mean, Faxland, he did pull off a one stop and it worked pretty well. But I just want to ask from your end, at what point did it cross your mind that, hey, I might actually be able to win this race?
Well, I saw. Well, initially I thought, okay, Faxland was ahead on the mediums, like by a comfortable, like 10, 15 seconds, something like that. And then I was going into the pits behind Assassin, and then it, you know, he said in the Discord that he had Stroll, like they changed his wing for some reason. And from when I came out the pits in front of him, I realized there's a chance of actually winning here if I just keep the pace. And then it was, you know, good good job to Faxland for doing the one stop, and unlucky Assassin on the pit stop, but it just wasn't to be.
Well,
To be
congratulations.
fair, Assassin. Let's jump to you real quick. You did take the 6 seconds there, so
9.
oh wow,
Oh no.
Yep.
9. It turned to 9 in the
Wouldn't
end.
matter anyways. 6 or 9, it.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
But-
lucky, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I got it in the last turn, so it wouldn't matter if I had 6. I would still lose out to 2 positions, so no difference that it would make. But I mean, the fact that I had to change my wing twice is.
Well, let's be optimistic here, man. You did
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to change your wing twice, and you still come away with the P3. If you're thinking
Yeah, so I
long
guess-
term here, this is a net gain. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just
It's-
if I didn't have to change my wing twice, if I didn't get damaged twice, then I could have pulled off the win, possibly. But
this is shaping up to
It
be
is what
an
it is,
excellent
so-
championship.
yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
And next week's a break week. I'll be racing in Tier 1 in this Canada race reserving.
You are today.
Yes.
Well, we'll have to keep an
Ooh.
eye on that, as Eric will be
Definitely
doing the
gonna keep
comms
an
for
eye
that
on
my
one.
best.
So, well, we've
my
seen
best.
your pace at Formula Fridays. I'm sure that you'll hang just fine. But you know, obviously, it's obviously it's got to really suck and sting that the penalties kept you out. But honestly,
Yeah.
if this is, hey man, at least it's a step on the podium. There's a lot of
Oh
guys
yeah,
out
of
there.
course. I'm happy, of course, about it.
It's just
yeah.
appreciate
Consistency.
these guys putting a last lap pass behind you. So now walk us through the race, Passassa. Was there anything that really stood out to you during the race? That I mean, Faxland obviously took off from pole, which was a bit interesting. That then you caught up and you made the move look easy, but it was apparent from the start that when you guys all pitted, Faxland just kept going, and we were in the booth. We are just like, all right, he's going this, he's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. And finally, 15 laps in, he goes in. I thought maybe I don't know why. I thought that you and AJ and the likes of you guys at pit for the mediums, and he kept going. I thought you guys were gonna go on to the mediums, but obviously, if you had done that, that would have been a completely different race. So
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the good strategy call. I was planning on soft medium stuff from the get-go, so yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate that I got some wing damage and had to change it and all those penalties, but you know, coming away with P3 at the end of the day is really good for me in the championship. So, yep, 3rd time in this booth.
yeah,
Yep, and I'm sure, at least for the both of you, it's probably not going to be the last time we'll see you both in the
Oh,
booth
absolutely not.
either.
No, it
Yeah, we'll
won't.
see.
I
hope not.
I see many battles between us in the future.
Oh yeah. Now,
Thank
did
you
we
for
get
the race, man. Good race.
Did we get
Good.
Yeah.
Faxline to jump in at all?
oh, we did not. Unfortunately, he did
we
not,
did not?
join the
See
party.
him.
All right, so I think on that note, unless Soon, if you've got any other questions to ask, I think it might be time to wrap things up here.
Yeah, we'll just get set for Tier 1 coming up. Oh, sorry, whoops, Division 1.
Yep, and for those watching at home, as Sunik said, Division 1 going to be kicking things off in about
23.
A little bit over, 23 minutes time. So don't go anywhere. Make sure to tune into that. It'll be myself and Ix in the commentators booth to take us through that. But for us here at Division 2, it's going to do it for the stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream as much as we did. And as Assassin mentioned, we've got a break week next week. So nothing from us next week, but of course the week after that we'll be right back down to business. And we all look forward to seeing you then. But until then, I've been ISRL Monkeys, and on behalf of ISRL Sunik, thank you for watching, and have yourselves a great rest of your day.
See you in France.
You did it, yes!
Alright, well done, lads.
Sorry.
Well done.
Yeah, good job. Good
GG
job.
on the race.
Yo, that shit was fucking dope.
Oh my god, that was...
Mate, I was
that was so
panicking.
good to watch.
Oh man, but yeah, great race for Assassin. Said again, mate. Got really unlucky today, but yeah. Yeah, well done on comms as well, lads. I'll be sure to watch it again.
You.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
see you guys later.
I had a beautiful onboard of your pass. If I want to send that one to you, that was absolutely epic. I was so hyped. Like I was like, I've been sitting here praying because we got one in season 2 was like our last our close finish at Baku, and I was like, we're due for like a solid like last lap pass. And then I saw you, I was like, ooh.
This is it.
Well, Faxlin had 0 ERS left to go down that back straight. He
Really?
put himself on the back.
Jesus.
He had nothing left. He threw everything out.
Oh.
He had no ERS the entire race. He was never above 25% for the entirety
I will
of that
tell
race.
you something.
Cool.
Is the stream live?
No, we're,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you all know this, but I'm probably moving to Tier 1 soon.
Yeah,
Division
well, we see what the fuck you do during Formula Fridays.
yeah,
Like, you're literally
I mean,
battling Josh and, like, Sophion and, like, Izat. It's like,
Well, that's the thing.
so what's your dad
Like,
gonna do?
My dad, and he's probably gonna move to Tier 3 in NFS.
There it is. Well, congrats, AJ.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you guys later.
Have
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah,
I
see you guys
almost gave
later.
myself high blood pressure in that start when we had to restart and stuff. Ugh.
I kept sending you invites to make sure you were good.
Yeah, I was fine. My internet said the session no longer existed. It wasn't the internet, it was just the game. So
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
tell it was gonna be
okay.
crashed as soon as like Stuart tried to like go swimming.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I saw that video. That was hilarious. All right. I'll try my best to try to get the best result in Division 1.
Dude, we're not an interview. You can say
over the
whatever the
break
hell you
week,
want.
it's going to be decided if I get a full-time seat in Tier 1, Division 1 or not.
We need drivers, and you're faster than like Carter now. Like remember like at the beginning of the
American.
season. Yeah, well, you notched that belt loop thing when you won Tier 2, so you are the second American to win in ISRL.
Youngest American too.
Youngest driver. Fuck you mean? You're the youngest like overall driver. Sweet Crown's only what? 17, 18? You're fucking 14.
Jesus Christ, he's 17.
Sweet Crown, yeah. All of the fast drivers, rotation 16, you 14, Sweet Crown.
Chappelle is 18.
See, F1 Richie, 40 something.
Yeah, I mean, here I am with a lowly 25 and struggling to get by in Tier 3.
33.
I
and
mean,
just
yeah,
confused.
it's all about the amount of practice you put in. If I put in even more practice, like if I would keeping this up, because I have like driver 61 classes that I've been like attending and like learning stuff about.
You've been taking those
But-
classes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I better every week. So I mean, give it a few more months and maybe even a few years, I'm not gonna be in the esports.
Yeah, well, like I told you, man, you're young and you have much to learn, and when you start learning other stuff, because your brain is an effing sponge, man, you're gonna be. Just give it 5 years. 5 years doesn't even put you in your goddamn 20s yet. You'll be straight, no stress.
Oh yeah.
Where's the lie?
It'll barely put me in my adulthood.
I mean, well, I gotta fucking do stuff, and
I gotta go get myself. I don't want to get.
why are
rusty
we
for the
racing
race.
tonight
Yeah.
in NFS? There's a fucking Super Bowl.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I mean, think we're all gonna jump off temporarily. I gotta go.
I gotta I gotta kick these guys out of the party. Hey, you have a good one. Jesus, that would be. I had to. I'll catch you later, man. Seven, let me get used to sporty. Gotta run around with a 40. Run around, get hit with a Morpheus. I don't give a fuck. Morpheus is gonna get with the butt with the four fist. I can't hear you. Well, as it turns out, I need to poop. Did you watch the Div 2 race? Last lap pass for the win. Actually, it was literally down the back straight into this final chicane. Faxland did a soft start on pole, drove those softs 15 laps till the end of lap 15. Pit for mediums, didn't pit again. Passassin, soft, medium, soft, but had 6 seconds. Caught up, 10-second gap, passed him. AJ Wuhan sat third the entire race, waited for his opportunity, saw the fact that Passassin had 6 seconds, pushed the gap, got up behind Faxland on the back straight. Faxland 0 ERS. Nathan just 17, gets the move done into the final chicane. Race dub for the boys. It was crazy. Wild, wild race. I gotta poop. I'll be back.